Hey, I'm Jake, and today I want to share something deeply personal, something that shaped the man I am today. When I was 18, fresh out of high school and prepping for college, my world flipped upside down. My parents, who were always more caught up in their own issues than in my little victories or struggles, decided my 18th birthday was the perfect time to kick me out. No gradual transition, no heartfelt talks about adulthood, just a cold, it's time for you to figure things out on your own, Jake. Fast forward 10 years. I hustled through college, scraping by on scholarships and part-time jobs, and now I've carved out a decent life. I'm a project manager, married to a wonderful woman, and we have a 3-year-old whirlwind named Max. Life's good, or at least stable. As for my parents, we've barely spoken. They missed all the big moments, graduation, my wedding, the birth of Max. Then one lazy Saturday morning, the phone rings. It's them. Their voices are softer, sweeter, telling me they've been thinking about me, that they miss me. They've heard about Max, and now they want to meet him, be a part of his life. We were young, made mistakes, they say. The timing is suspicious, right around Max's 3rd birthday. We'd love to see you, Jake. Maybe we could come to Max's birthday party. My mom's voice is a mix of hope and hesitation. Why now? I ask, keeping my voice flat, guarded. I'm not about to let them waltz back into my life without some answers. We know we weren't there when you needed us most, my dad adds. But we want to make things right. We're different now. I'm skeptical, but a part of me wonders if they've really changed. Could they? And a bigger part of me wants Max to know of his grandparents, even if I have my doubts. Okay, I finally say, feeling the weight of their request. You can come to the party. But this is about Max, not us. Thank you, Jake. You won't regret this, my mom replies, relief in her voice. I hang up, emotions swirling, hope, anxiety, a bit of dread. I want to believe in second chances, but can people really change that much? I guess I'll find out at Max's birthday. As I set the phone down, my wife Laura looks at me, eyebrows raised in a silent question. I shrug, squeezing her hand. They're coming to the party. Let's see how it goes. She nods, supportive as ever, but I can tell she's on guard too. We both are. We're a team, and we'll handle this together. Are you sure this is a good idea? Laura's voice cuts through the noise of balloons and streamers as I try to hang the last decoration. Yeah, I guess. It's just a party, right? My hands are steady, but my heart isn't. Laura hands me a roll of tape, her fingers brushing mine. Just a party where your parents, who haven't seen you in a decade, suddenly show up. No big deal, she quips, but her smile doesn't reach her eyes. The doorbell rings and my stomach knots. Showtime. Laura squeezes my hand before I head to open the door. There they are. Mom looks older, lines of regret etched around her eyes. Dad stands slightly behind, his posture uncertain. Jake, look at you, Mom says, her voice trembling as she steps forward, arms open. I hesitate, then allow the hug. Hi, Mom. Dad. Thank you for inviting us, Dad says, his voice rough. This means a lot. This is Max's day, I remind them, stepping back. Let's keep it about him. Of course, Mom agrees quickly, glancing around at the decorations. Everything looks wonderful. Laura joins us, her smile warm but cautious. Welcome, help yourselves, food's on the table, drinks are in the cooler. As more guests arrive, the atmosphere fills with the usual birthday party chaos. Kids running around, parents in tow. My parents mingle awkwardly, with Dad lingering on the outskirts. Do you think they're really here for him? Laura whispers as we watch Max, oblivious, tearing into a gift. I don't know, but today's about Max. The party rolls on. Mom tries to insert herself into the family pictures, overcompensating with her laughter and moments with Max, who's far more interested in his new toys. Jake, can we talk? Dad's voice pulls me aside. What's up? It's been too long, son. Your mother and I, we've missed so much. We're sorry for how things went down. Yeah, it was tough, Dad. Getting kicked out with nowhere to go, that's not something you just get over. I know, and we're so sorry, Jake. We were wrong, he says, but his eyes don't quite meet mine. Sorry doesn't change the past, Dad. It doesn't change the birthdays, the Christmases, the missed school plays, and graduations. We can't change the past. We're here now, Jake, Dad said, his voice steady but thick with emotion. We want to be part of your and Max's life, if you let us. The sincerity in his tone was hard to ignore, but the years of absence were harder to forgive. I nodded slowly, biting back the words I wanted to say. We'll see, Dad, but today's about Max. Let's not forget that. As the party wound down and the cake was reduced to crumbs, the sound of my mom's voice interrupted the laughter coming from the patio. The party had shifted gears, kids chasing each other while the adults relaxed with lighter conversations. Jake, can we talk? Her voice broke through the noise, tentative but firm. I glanced at Laura, who gave me a nod, signaling she'd keep an eye on Max. I followed my parents into the kitchen, the weight of something unspoken already heavy in the air. We need to talk about something a bit uncomfortable, Mom began, her hands wringing nervously, eyes avoiding mine. Dad stood by the counter, looking just as uneasy. I'm listening, I said, folding my arms. It's about us, Dad started, his voice low and hesitant. Your mom and I, we've been going through some tough times. Financially. I felt a flicker of suspicion. Financial troubles. Dad nodded. Yes. Things haven't been great since I lost my job. And your mom's been sick. Medical bills are piling up. Mom's voice dropped to a whisper. We didn't want to worry you. I crossed my arms tighter, suspicion turning into disbelief. And you're telling me this now? At Max's birthday party. We've exhausted all our options, Mom continued quickly. We thought, maybe you could help us out. Just until we get back on our feet. A bitter laugh escaped me. You thought this was the right time to ask for money? At my son's party. We're family, Jake, Dad interjected. Who else can we turn to? The word family tasted sour. Family? I shook my head. You kicked me out with nothing and now, after all these years, you show up at my son's birthday to ask for money. We know it's a lot to ask. Mom's voice wavered, her eyes pleading. A lot to ask, I said, my voice rising. It's more than that. It's everything. You didn't care how I managed all these years, did you? Did you even wonder if I had food to eat or a roof over my head when I was in college? We're sorry, Jake, Dad said, his voice cracking, desperation clear. We were wrong. So wrong. But we're still your parents. I had to fight for everything I have today. Without you, you haven't been my parents for a long time. We know, Dad's voice was small, and we regret it every day. Please, Jake. The room fell silent. The muffled sounds of the party outside were a stark contrast to the tension inside. I can't do this, I finally said, shaking my head. Not here, not today. Max is having a great time, and I won't ruin that for him. We'll talk about this later. But Jake, Mom started. Not now, I cut her off. Enjoy the party. We'll discuss this some other time. I turned away, leaving them standing there, their faces etched with a mix of shame and urgency. As I stepped back into the party, the facade of a happy reunion crumbled. Laura caught my eye from across the room, her look full of understanding and concern. You okay? She mouthed. I forced a smile and nodded as Max ran up to me, completely unaware of the storm raging inside. I scooped him up, grateful for his innocent laughter, using it to drown out the turmoil. This day was about him, and I wasn't going to let anything spoil that, not even the ghosts of the past, now standing at my door with outstretched hands. As the party ended and the quiet of the house settled in, the tension didn't fade. If anything, it echoed louder. Word of what happened spread quickly. It wasn't just between Laura and me, or our close friends. Stories like this never stay secret for long. Yeah, they show up after all these years, and the first thing they do is ask Jake for money. I overheard someone say at the coffee shop. The barista, who knew me by face if not by full story, gave me a sympathetic nod as I picked up my order. Another customer chimed in, oblivious that I was within earshot. That's messed up after everything. Back at work, colleagues who'd been at the party approached me with cautious words of support. Tom, one of the few who knew the full extent of my history with my parents, clapped a hand on my shoulder. You handled that better than most, Jake. But as my parents' real intentions became clear to more people, their standing in the community took hit after hit. Invitations to social gatherings dried up, and polite nods in public turned into cold shoulders. The community that had supported me, embraced me when I was most vulnerable, now closed ranks around me, shielding me from the people who should have been my biggest supporters. At home, Laura and I finally sat down for a long overdue conversation after Max was asleep. I think it's time we set some clear boundaries with your parents, Laura suggested, her hand finding mine across the table. For Max's sake, and for ours. I nodded, the weight of the decision heavy but right. I agree. It's one thing to forgive, another to forget. I'm not ready for either, not until I see some real change from them. A few weeks later, my phone buzzed with a number I hadn't saved. I recognized the number on my phone, even though it wasn't saved in my contacts. I let it go to voicemail. Jake, it's Mom, the message began. Your father and we're sorry. We've been talking and we're getting help, financial counseling, and parenting classes. We want to make things right, not just for you, but for ourselves. I played the message again, Laura beside me. What do you think? I asked, unsure. They're making an effort, Laura said thoughtfully. Maybe not enough, but it's a start. Yeah, maybe, I agreed, but we're taking things slow, very slow. The weeks turned into months, and gradually we heard news about the changes my parents were making. There were small, tentative stories of them volunteering, apologizing to old friends, and trying to mend the relationships they had damaged. Not all their attempts were accepted, but the effort was there. One crisp autumn afternoon, as Max played in the leaves, I watched him from the porch, his laughter a balm to old aches. Laura joined me, wrapping an arm around my waist. Are you okay? She asked, following my gaze. Yeah, I am, I replied. It's funny, isn't it? How things come full circle. I'm not sure what will happen with Mom and Dad, but right now, this is enough. This is peace. Laura squeezed me tighter, and we stood there, watching Max play. The distance from my past was a safeguard for my future. In that moment, I knew that breaking the cycle was the best gift I could give my son. A legacy of love and protection, free from doubt. As the leaves fell around us, a sense of closure settled in my heart. Maybe one day there would be reconciliation, but for now I was content to build the family I chose, surrounded by those who chose us back. The past would always be part of my story, but it wouldn't dictate my future, not anymore. Sitting on the porch, the crisp autumn air mixing with the sounds of Max's joyful play, I thought about the next steps. It was time to let go of the anger that had weighed on me like a heavy coat. That evening, Laura and I planned a small getaway for the three of us. A weekend up at the lake, just us, the water, and the woods. No distractions. Maybe we could invite them for a day visit sometime. Laura suggested cautiously, her eyes searching mine for a reaction. I considered it. The idea was uncomfortable at first, but maybe if they continued their efforts, it could be good for Max to see them trying. A few weeks later, on a sunny morning while Max set up his toy trains in the living room, I received a text from Mom. It was a picture of her and Dad at a community fundraiser, genuinely smiling. The text read simply, "We're really trying, Jake. Miss you all." Seeing them involved and smiling stirred something in me, a cautious hope. I showed the picture to Laura, and she nodded. Looks like they're really putting in the effort, she said. Let's keep watching from a distance for now. Time will tell. I nodded, watching Max connect the tracks, determined to make a complete loop. And so our life continued, just me, my wife, and my son. My true happiness was in their happiness. As we reach the end of Jake's story, I have a question for you all. Do you think Jake made the right choice by setting boundaries with his parents, or should family always stick together no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a conversation. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Your support helps us keep these stories coming.